Switch!
Switch!
And that's the start of the video. Who are you?
Kathy Cat.
No, you're not. You look completely different.
I'm like Waluigi.
Waluigi. Is that the
Waluigi.
sister of Waluigi? Wa means Japanese.
Lolita.
I thought they all were Japanese.
Funny.
Switch! Is Switch gonna save Nintendo or gonna be a great big failure? It's a tablet that you play at home and then you can pick it up and go mobile with it.
It stands there and then you have your own controllers and you play as if it was a home control.
Yeah, there's a separate controller.
On the big screen. And then when you suddenly feel like you need to walk the dog was like, walk me, so the guy gets up and picks up the console and then he sits down in the park and keeps playing his game.
Yeah.
So when you're on an airplane and you feel like you have space in front of yourself because
everyone has so much space on an airplane.
So you put that in front of you and then you can take the left and right control things off and then game with it like this.
But here's what's actually gonna happen when you put it on the table in front of you on a plane. It's actually gonna be closer to you.
Probably the guy in front of you will probably put his seat back so your console flies over.
What are you gonna do with that one angle kickstand? It's either at photo frame angle or nothing.
It.
The idea of a new Nintendo console, which is more powerful than the Wii U and portable whenever I feel like it, I think that's really great.
I always have portable consoles with me because I'm so much on the go. I'm less at home than I'm anywhere else. A portable thing is great, but then I miss having the big experience of having something on a big screen. It just looks nicer. And the good thing is that it's not just, sometimes you have it separately, like you could play a little bit portable, but then you had to kind of transfer it back. It's all in the same thing, so you save data on here, on the go, and at home is the exact same. Why has no one thought of this before?
Well, here's the thing, with the PS Vita, the whole idea was that you could be playing a game on your PS4, and then you'd have the PS Vita version, and it would like use the cloud and would send your save file over and you'd be playing the same game. And they got sued for it because...
What?
Yeah, because they made an advert, but that feature never happened.
There are no kids in the trailer.
We don't need them in Japan.
Well,
There's just no need for them in
foreign
Japan.
people in the trailer.
No, wait, no.
20s, 30s.
No. The esports scene had a clearly Japanese Splatoon team.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like tailored towards like late 20s, even early 30s, the kind of mature gamer. Usually Nintendo was like, we are the family-friendly console, and now it's actually targeted more towards the people who have the money. So you have the console and you can take it away, and what you can also do is take the handle off right and left and you can have one and I can have the other part.
So basically they've changed it so there's 2 analog sticks and 4 little buttons. Yep. And so it's going to be identical no matter who has which side.
Both of us could game in theory.
So many iPad games don't have multiplayer modes. What happened to the days when we could like buy a console and play it together and only have to buy one game?
I think that's the best times you remember from your childhood. Is like sitting at some like mate's house or and just playing a game together. Or
Can we play your
watching
Atari?
your mates play like.
Oh yeah, just watching someone else play.
You sometimes do that. Well, that's pretty much what we do.
That's
now
pretty
on
much what
YouTube,
LPJ
but,
is.
Yeah.
Who's gonna play Switch outside the house? We're all raising our hands, we're gonna play home console games when we're out and about. But let's face it, PS Vita made beautiful game titles, and people didn't want to play them on the train because
The quality's lower.
the quality was
No?
really good. They made some really high quality games. No one wants to play big games on the go.
I'm an RPG person. They take a lot of time, right?
Okay, when was the last time you played a long time legit RPG that wasn't a mobile phone?
I like Pokemon and stuff like that.
Do you play Pokemon
I do
on the
play
train?
On the train, yes.
Really? You've
Yes.
been playing Pokemon on the
Yes,
train?
I also been playing Persona on the train.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't have time.
Basically,
This
I don't
is the only
think-
time I have time.
Basically, I think you might be an unusual case. I think most people are only playing mobile phone games. Even people who are core gamers, they only want to play mobile phone games on the train. I really support the idea of Switch, but I don't know if it's going to sell. I don't think outside of, hey, that's really cool and all the gamers love it, whether there's enough people who are going to buy it to make it
It's
work.
gonna carry them around. Nowadays, people are more appreciating portable things. Not so many people have the time to sit down in front of the screen at home when they get in. Especially the area they're targeted towards, like the 20s, 30s. Like once you're out of university and you start working, how much time do you actually have in the evening to sit down and game? Maybe an hour or two? At least it gives you the idea that you can take this away and progress your game on the go. If you're gonna do that in the end, is up to you.
Now we're talking. Instead of it's gonna work because it's portable, it's more like it's going to work because of the illusion. Because the
there.
option is there, maybe that's what will sell it. But I think the number of people who actually bring a Switch out of their house will be Very little.
Especially abroad, when you're like a bit like, ooh, is this gonna break, or is someone gonna nick it? I mean, obviously, if you're bringing it around a party and upon playing it at a party like they advertised it,
don't bring your Switch to parties unless it's a gaming party.
You're going to.
Yeah. Social tips: just don't bring it. Actually, you might be the life and soul of the party. You might save the party if you bring the Switch.
That might be. So you might save your friend's party because it's dead boring and everyone's just hanging around, and you just sit there and you just like go like, this party.
Let's play some Mario Kart.
Okay, guys, let's play Mario Kart.
I am so psyched about the idea of like whipping out a tablet, but then not having to play like a game where we both tap the screen. It's like sit it down and just play legit Mario Kart. I reckon that would be amazing.
I'd love to like just go like, oh, I brought my Switch today. Did you bring your Switch today?
I think what will happen more often with Switch will be, hey, I brought my Switch today. Have you got yours? No.
And then
well, that's fine. And then we'll still play. And I think that's going to be more
good
common,
as well, because that's always one of the things. Like for example, with the portable games, you always need to have your own console, right?
Yeah, that was so annoying.
So
actually.
if I forget my 3DS, we can't play.
Or if you haven't bought the game that I own as well, it's like, oh, and we can't do download play, so we've got to spend another $40 on another copy of the game to play it.
Yeah,
like,
unless it's like one of the streaming ones, but then it takes ages for streaming.
Exactly. So this is the return of one console, one cartridge, 2 people can play. That's what Super Nintendo was all about. It was like, hey, I've got this awesome game called WrestleMania. Let's both play it.
Let's play it.
And it was not like, have you got WrestleMania? Oh, you don't.
Oh, you don't. Oh, well.
Have you got $50? With PS Vita, I actually had quite a few friends who owned the console, but not the games that I owned. So it'd be like, hey, do you want to play God Eater? And they'd be like, yeah, can I download it from you? I'm like, what? This is Vita, man. You gotta buy it yourself. One console being able to play 2 people, separate controllers. I think it's gonna work really, really well.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this coming out, to be honest. I want this.
But I don't know if it's gonna succeed. How much do you think Switch is going to cost?
I think like $300.
It will definitely not be less than $300.
Yeah, probably not.
Absolutely
Probably 350, 400 upwards. Think about it. That's what you're carrying around with you then.
The legit iPad kind of price of device.
Switch
is going to be really expensive. We're talking $450.
I think it's going to depend on what you actually get with the set, because we know there's a docking station. We know there's the screen. We know there are the 2 controllers at the screen, but we also know that there are separate controllers.
You're absolutely right. I think it could be much cheaper as long as they just remove every accessory and they just sell the tablet. A lot of people will be buying it just to replace their Wii U, so they don't need it to be portable.
One thing, it's not downwards compatible, which is the reason.
Who cares?
I'm sad. Like, obviously,
you don't own a Wii U. You can't be sad about backwards compatibility.
I always think there should at least be the chance somewhat to play your old game.
Forget it. Here's the thing. There's no need for them to be backwards compatible because they'll probably just sell it at a pretty good price for you to play the enhanced graphics version. Even if they don't make backwards compatibility and they just re-release, it'll be the first time a lot of people have ever bought those games anyway. Switch is not a tablet, and it is not being designed to sell against tablets. It's a home console that you can take out when you want to. And for that reason, I reckon the battery life will probably be quite low.
I think they're estimating that it might be around 3 hours. 3 hours is terrible. In the start, you might have 3 hours, but like after a year, you might have like an hour. Because that would not be so great. Their niche was, we're the family console. All of you are the adult consoles, do what you want, but we're the family console. And they're moving away from that now. They showed images from Skyrim, which is one of the most mature adult games that, you know, they actually
It's quite a mature game,
yeah. In Skyrim, I mean, that can get pretty, like,
graphic.
You can do all kinds of things on Skyrim.
Well, it's not just the adult audience, but also games were kind of for kids when we were growing up, and you would buy the console for your kids because your kids wanted it. Now it's more like the adults want the consoles, we buy them, and then we let our kids play them.
Yes.
Aiming at an older market makes sense. Switch, not going to compete with mobile devices, but it's clearly not supposed to.
No.
It's a home console that you can probably take out with you. So we don't really have confirmed titles. We've got a list of people who are going to support Switch because they want to work with Nintendo, but no promises yet on the game titles. Should we really be releasing a home console?
They give you the image of, you can play this on your great screen because everyone buys those big screens now. It's like, oh, you have this big screen, but you don't really use it anymore because you watch videos on YouTube. You can use your big screen and play games, and then you can take them away, or at least have the illusion that you will take them away and have that freedom.
I think that I'm part of some dying breed that still loves Nintendo, and I just don't think there are enough people who give a damn about Nintendo.
That's a good question. I think if you grew up with Nintendo, It's different.
Yeah, for Nintendo fans, I think it'll be a really cool, novel device.
I mean, like, okay, Skyrim, that's usually a title that sells quite well, but then there is a PC version of it, so how are you gonna go against that if it's already available on PC as well?
And people are buying tablets, like Surface tablets, really thin, very, very light. You can run PC games on that. People are willing to spend more money on their PC than they are on a games console. What do you guys think? Do you think Switch is a great, big, disappointing mistake?
Or do you think it's going to switch the way we see gaming and turtle?
Here's this cool thing that we want to succeed, but it's going to be like the Vita. Really high quality games on the go, which no one else wants to do.
But no one really does anymore. Where are the gaming people?
Are you the gaming people?
Get off your Candy Crush.
Get off
Start
Candy Crush.
gaming.
But it's okay to play Candy Crush sometimes when you get the
Game
urge.
properly.